I hate when the news media, both the conservative and liberal medias, get tunnel visioned on one subject. But leftists are still making things entertaining. The NBA and a major video game creator get woke on China, and it's going to cost people their livelihood, apparently. California signs another stupid frigging law, and it's become so common that, hey, if California signs a law, you know there's something wrong with it. And AOC continues to be an absolute idiot. No, I still haven't seen Joker. And no, we're not going to be talking about Joker tonight. This is Gene, and you're listening to Dumbasses Talking Politics. So, the news cycle has been pretty much the same thing. It's just been the same thing over and over and over and over again. So here, you just listen to it. Tell me what you think.
Given the events of today, the likelihood of impeachment, I'm not saying it's high necessarily, but it certainly went up.
Impeachment.
Impeached.
Impeachment. Impeachment.
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
The president is clearly guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors. He should resign his office or be impeached.
Today, the Trump presidency took a giant step toward impeachment.
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 Impeachment implications are now in the air.
Impeachment.
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 If it is a crime, it certainly is an impeachable offense.
Impeach Trump.
Impeachment.
Impeachment. Impeachment.
I want to thank Fox News for that one. That was on the Sean Hannity show. They set that up. But that's basically where the news has been for the last week. It's old. I do not take any of this stuff seriously, but that's all they can talk about. Now, what's interesting about that clip is that clip actually was talking impeachment through the 3 years of his candidacy, Trump's candidacy, and his presidency. That wasn't just yesterday or day before yesterday. So you can tell a lot of people have been listening to this crap for a long time, and it's just really old. So, but you know what? Guess what? I still don't care. I still think it's a non-story. So I have to actually really hunt for stories now. It's gotten to the point it's very hard to find something. But I manage. You know, California, they did it again. But first off, let's talk about our overlords, the Chinese. This week, apparently, the general manager for the NBA's basketball team, the Houston Rockets, has started an international incident that could lead us down the rabbit hole to another Cold War with China. I don't know why anyone cares, but they do. And it was through a 7-word tweet. This guy didn't actually say something. He didn't tell someone. He wasn't interviewed. He tweeted something through Twitter. On the computer. That 7-word tweet? Fight for freedom. Stand for Hong Kong. Quote, end quote. In quotes. The Houston Rockets management immediately stated that the opinions of their employees do not reflect the opinions of the organization and apologized to the Chinese government. Okay? I mean, CCTV, which is the Chinese television network, state-sponsored Chinese television network, which, by the way, audits what their people can see, were not happy. This is a station that is actually hosting two NBA preseason games. So 2 NBA games were supposed to take place over in China. And right now, these people have basically said, you know what? No, we're not going to allow an NBA team to play over in China. Because, you know, the Chinese have so much to look forward to. What do they need basketball for? CCTV was quoted, "We're strongly dissatisfied and opposed Adam Silver's claim to support Morey's right to freedom of expression. I'm sorry, I didn't bring that up yet. We believe that any remarks that challenge the national sovereignty and social stability are not within the scope of freedom of speech. Now, the CCTV had mentioned Adam Silver. I didn't think about him because Adam Silver was dealing with this today. This is an ongoing story. This is not over. We're still working on this. Adam Silver is the NBA commissioner, and he was in Japan at the time. He heard about the actual quote. He heard about the Rockets' response, and he is quoted as this: Daryl Morey, as general manager of the Houston Rockets, enjoys the right as one of our employees. What I also tried to suggest is that I understand there are consequences from this freedom of speech, and we will have to live with those consequences, end quote. Okay, that was kind of a braver statement. It was still kind of a kowtowing statement, but it was a braver statement. Basically, he sat back and said that Daryl Morey can say what he wants. I mean, he's an American citizen. He has the right to free speech. Now, let's go back and let's review what CCTV said. I'm going to quote it again. We're strongly dissatisfied and opposed Adam Silver's claim to support Morey's right to the freedom of expression. In other words, the Chinese don't want us to have free speech when it comes to China. So we can sit there and talk crap about Trump, and that's coming in a few minutes. All we want. That's freedom of speech, but we can't talk crap about China, who is a ruthless dictatorship. Hundreds of millions have been killed in China. They still are. They live in abject poverty. This is not a good country. They're under a fascist dictatorship. They're no longer a communist country. They're a fascist dictatorship. So that's the first part of that. We believe that any remarks that challenge our national sovereignty and social stability are not within the scope of freedom of speech. If someone can tweet something on social media, can tweet 7 words on social media, and you're afraid you're going to lose your sovereignty and your social stability is in question, I'd say there's something wrong with your society. I'd say there's something wrong with the sovereignty. Your sovereignty is on very cracked foundation, and your social stability ain't that stable. We don't know what's going to happen. This Adam Silver is going to China. China has canceled both preseason basketball games. They're actually tearing. They got video of people tearing the NBA stickers off of the walls of the stadium that the teams were going to play in. You know, good riddance for me. I could care less. But that's not the big story. The big story is the freedom of speech and the freedom of thought. Let's listen to Steve Kerr. I find this extremely disturbing because Steve Kerr is a bit of an ass. Steve Kerr has no problems telling people how bad they are if they're from this country. I mean, no problem with it. He rips Trump, he rips the United States more than anyone in the world. But listen, when he was asked about the actual, China.
Steve, obviously the big story in the league right now is Daryl Morey's tweet and everything going on with China. Do you have any thoughts on that situation?
Actually, I don't. I mean, it's a really bizarre international story, and a lot of us don't know what to make of it. So it's something I'm reading about, and just like everybody is, but I'm not going to comment further than that.
How challenging is that for you at this point? I mean, I'm sure there's you may want to comment on something.
No, I mean, actually, what I've found is that it's easy to speak on issues that I'm passionate about and that I feel like I'm well versed on, and And I've found that it makes the most sense to stick to topics that are that fall in that category. So I try to keep my comments to those things. But so it's not difficult. It's more I'm just trying to learn. You know, my brother-in-law is actually a Chinese history professor, and I emailed him today to tell me what I should be learning about all this and what's happening. So I'm trying to learn just like everybody else is.
Steve, to that point, has the league said anything to coaches and players about not saying anything?
No, nobody has said anything to us from the league or from the organization about whether we can comment or not comment. So.
Is it something you would bring up with the guys?
A little bit, you know, we a couple of the guys and I talked about it today, more out of a, you know, just a, hey, did you see that, or what do you think, type thing, but you know, not a team-wide discussion.
Did you see Maury's tweet?
No.
What a friggin' coward. What a coward. Hey, newsflash, the China thing is not that complicated. The Hong Kong thing is not that complicated. England had control of Hong Kong, made it into a free enterprise, a free state. They gave it up to China. China said, okay, we'll wait 30 years and then we'll take over the country. China's decided to change laws. Basically, they decided to lie again and make it so that people who are arrested in Hong Kong can be tried in China, and most of the time they disappear. And the Hong Kongers, and that's what they want to be called, that's not racist, that's what they want to be called, don't want to deal with this. They don't want to be oppressed by China. China, who serves with sweatshop labor. China, who makes sure that political dissidents disappear and end up in gulags someplace, or just never show up again. China, whose president, Xi, is now a dictator, president for life. It's not that complicated. The Hong Kongers don't want anything to do with China. They don't want to be under a fascist dictatorship rule. And this guy, it's hard to understand? No, it's really not hard to understand. Now people are dying in the streets. And we have somebody who happens to be a general manager of the NBA that doesn't support this garbage. And says that, you know, hey, go Hong Kongers. And suddenly China gets all offended and their sovereignty and their social stability is at stake? Again, they ain't that sovereign. Their sovereignty and social stability probably ain't in that great a shape. This is a guy, by the way, Steve Kerr. He's up there with Popovich from the San Antonio Spurs. He has no problem pissing on the United States government, and President Trump. This is a guy who's won several NBA championships. Oh, he visited Obama at the White House because he agreed with Obama. He actually made a statement that, oh, you know, hey, it's not about the president and everything until the president is Trump. Refused to go to visit the president after he won his last NBA championship. And the president said, okay, you're not invited. Forget it. Never mind. And then started whining about it. He started crying about gun control, how we needed gun control because of mass shootings. It seems to me he doesn't know what he's talking about a lot of subjects. Yet he still talks. The NBA just continues to support the pro-Chinese thing. And people are ignoring it. They're not well, the mainstream media is ignoring it. People are not ignoring it. Two Hong Kongers, who they actually previously lived in Hong Kong. This happened last night. They did not appreciate the NBA's reaction. Oh, by the way, let's not forget one thing. Steve Kerr was Colin Kaepernick's biggest proponent. Oh, well, he's just protesting. Yeah, no. You don't protest like that when I'm paying to watch you play. You don't kneel during the national anthem. Sorry, you don't. You want to kneel during the national anthem, you do it when you're a fan. You don't do it when you're actually on the field and getting paid by these millions of dollars to be paid by these people. And you already know what I think of Nike when they sign that idiot for their shoes. And you already know what I think about Nike shoes. It's just absolutely asinine. So anyway, the NBA is still touting the Chinese line. So two people, they were Hong Kongers. They lived in Hong Kong for a short period of time. They were, I think, of Asian descent from what I saw. I didn't see the entire video. They were at a basketball game, preseason basketball game, and these two people had signs that said, "Free HK, free Hong Kong." That's it. Security came, removed their signs, took their signs away from them. So what did they do? They started yelling it out. Free Hong Kong. They were escorted out of the stadium. Here's a newsflash. Those people paid the same price for a preseason game that they would pay for a regular season game. Meanwhile, oh wait, Colin Kaepernick can kneel during the national anthem. That's okay. But when you go against the narrative, when you go against the left, they will ban you. They think nothing of it. What is the difference between Colin Kaepernick? Well, first off, these people paid to be there. Their protest means something. Colin Kaepernick is being paid to play football. And millions of dollars. So his kneeling is unacceptable to most people. What about, well, no, it's not done. China is really stretching their arms here. Blizzard had a video game tournament. And in that video game tournament, and yes, they have these tournaments where, and Blizzard is a video game manufacturer. Activision used to make the old Ataris, okay, so in case you don't know. Or they made games for the Ataris back in the 70s, 80s, whenever the hell you guys were alive. I'm sure somebody played video games. My God, I'm not going to even get into anything. I'm going to get into the California story because it's just so stupid. But anyway, so there was a kid that was playing this game. Now, these video game tournaments are worldwide. They're international. People make huge money off of them. People make a ton of money off of these things. They make their careers. They end up rich when they master this video game. Well, this one kid was playing in the Asian tournament, okay, and it was, he did win it. He ended up not doing anything. The Asian tournament, and he won the tournament. So, of course, they go and interview them. Now, I've never watched a video game tournament. I think it's kind of weird. But, hey, whatever. I guess, yeah, that's great. So he said, free Hong Kong. He was wearing a gas mask. That's weird, but these are Asians, so they can be a little odd. He was wearing a gas mask, and he said, free Hong Kong, or something of that nature. Blizzard disqualified him. He ended up losing all the money that he had earned. He ended up losing all of his tournament play that he had done. And he got suspended from the league for a year. All because he's pro-Hong Kong. All because he's pro-Hong Kong. Is this where we're going to? I can't remember who said it. I think it was Khrushchev said it. We will take over your country without shooting one round. And that is a sick. I'm making that. That is a. I'm making it up here. So is China now going to determine what speech is free, what speech is acceptable in other countries? This tournament happened in Malaysia or Japan. It didn't happen in China. The NBA does not owe anything to China. Is this the way things are now? We're going to let a country that, yeah, I understand they have billions of people, but they're a mess. And we're going to let them tell us what we can and cannot say? How scary is this? The NBA has shown me nothing but how their cowardice, their absolute cowardice in this whole thing. Those chicken S's. The NBA, there are more people that play basketball in China than are in the United States. They have 400 million people who follow and play basketball in China. What does that tell you? It tells me the NBA is bigger than China. The NBA has nothing to worry about. The NBA should go out there and say, listen, yeah, he said that, so what? Don't publish it. What do you want? That's what you guys are doing already. The NBA should not be kowtowing and apologizing to a freaking fascist dictatorship. But meanwhile, coming to this country, these idiots in this country keep pointing at our country and saying we're fascist dictators. These people in the NBA talk about Trump like he's a Hitler and he's a dictator and he's going to destroy the Constitution and everything, and yet they have the freedom to say that. It's in countries like China, you don't have that freedom. I think the NBA should kind of try and be a little bit more open, really understand this freedom of speech thing, because they really don't get it. But this brings us to another part, and everything I told you I was going to talk about earlier, I'm not going to talk about. It's the elites. I never believed in elitism in the country. I didn't believe, but when you look at the NBA players, you know what could have stopped China from getting all upset? Is if LeBron James or Steve Kerr or one of those guys actually said, guys, this is nothing personal. It's just, this is what we think. But none of them have the guts to do that. And they don't have the guts to do that because it's $1 billion. And China is controlling our speech through their economy. And they don't realize that. And that's the whole thing. Elitism, listen, there is a belief, they talk about corporations being immoral and things like that. Well, corporations are not immoral, they're amoral. There's no morality. But corporations, big corporations like NBC, the NBA, Disney, Google, Facebook, Twitter, corporations like that, they love socialism. They love fascism. And the reason these groups these corporations love that kind of stuff is because they're on the inside. They control everything. Why is Google working with China right now? Google should not be working with China. Google is actually promoting suppression of speech based off China's regulations. So is it a big shock that Google manipulates their search? Is it a shock that YouTube, which is a Google company, manipulates their searches or bans speech that they don't like? No, it's not. Not at all. So here's the whole thing. It's elitism. When corporations become so big, they try and get on the inside. And at that point, they want to choke off the little guy. There is a search engine I actually use called DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo is a non-biased search engine. So if I go in and I search for a montage of impeachment, DuckDuckGo will actually show me all of the montages usually from right-wing websites, of impeachment being called out by the left against Trump. Whereas if I type in impeachment montage in Google, I get a completely different search result, and it's usually from CNN and MSNBC. And there are a ton of non-biased search engines. DuckDuckGo is the one I use. That's why I can pull up things like this. So I think it's seriously time the elites begin to realize, how did they become elite? How did Mark Zuckerberg become a billionaire? How did Microsoft become, the founders of Microsoft become billionaires? And here's the whole thing. I don't disagree they shouldn't be billionaires. They should be. They came up with a great product. Amazon, great product. They should be billionaires. Because I believe in a free economy. I believe in capitalism. But here's the dirty secret with capitalism, is that it usually eats itself, and that's what it's doing right now. It's eating itself. It's destroying itself. And that's a bad thing. Because the companies that gain something from capitalism want to keep what they have, and the only way to do that is destroy the competition, which is the basis for capitalism. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I don't know whether to blame these big companies or not blame these big companies, because that's what they're supposed to do. But the problem is, you don't want to change the way of life of everybody else. I don't think you should. The NBA, you want to be in China so you can get $1.3 billion is your contract? I don't know. It's a conundrum. It is a conundrum. It's a catch-22. Big corporations like the NBA have to kowtow to where they get their money. And big corporations like the NBA want to see regulations, big government. They don't like capitalism. Capitalism made them big. But capitalism is what can make them smaller. Examples, the USFL. Remember that? I bet you don't. Some of the older listeners do. USFL could not compete with the NFL. And the NFL just ate their lunch, destroyed them. And if the USFL did become bigger at the time, by the way, Steve Young was from the USFL. Okay? The NFL Hall of Famer started in the USFL. If there is no competition, the corporations are thrilled with it. They are. It's the conundrum. So I can't necessarily blame the NBA for peeing on the little people, for peeing on people who support fascism, because fascism is what's going to keep them big and keep them making money. It is the catch-22 of capitalism. It's why capitalism really hurts itself. But I'll tell you one thing. I won't be watching one game of the NBA. Even if the Los Angeles Lakers, and I used to live in Los Angeles, have LeBron James, I won't be watching basketball. That's how I protest. That's how I realize, these people are not good. So, I don't know. Anyway, you can follow me on Twitter at RunninFool. RUNNINFEWL. Visit my blog at www.dumbassestalkingpolitics.com. You can download or listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Podcast Addict, or YouTube. This is Gene, and you've listened to Dumbasses Talking Politics.